YouTubers. So I know that I've been saying that I'm going to get around to making a recipe video, and wow, who would have thought that it would be so hard to do that? But you know, every day depends on the time, and you have to clean up first, so I finally have time to make a recipe vid. This isn't going to be a Hungry Veg original. It's actually a recipe from Dr. McDougall's April newsletter, and I'm going to link to it in the description box. It's a recipe for blueberry muffins, and it looks really, really awesome. I just finally got the last ingredient for it, blueberries, and so I'm really, really excited to make this and share it with you. So I'm going to be filming the process, and I hope you guys enjoy. I'm going to be starting with the first step, which is to chop these beautiful, beautiful medjool dates, 12 of them. And so let's get started. They have to all be pitted as well and then chopped up fine. I will speed through this part for your sake. So we're putting them in here, and to this bowl we're going to add a cup of almond milk, which I just need to grab a measuring cup and then we'll add that in. So I'm using the Blue Diamond Almond Breeze vanilla flavored, that way I don't have to add any vanilla extract, but you can use whatever kind. It doesn't have to be almond milk, it could be rice milk, coconut milk, hemp milk, whatever. It also doesn't have to be vanilla flavored or sweetened. Personally, I would recommend the sweetened because this recipe doesn't use any sugar. It just uses the dates for sweetness. And so if you're worried about it not being sweet enough, using a sweetened non-dairy milk would definitely help in that regard. But everyone has their own desires for sweetness levels. So I'm going to try this. I'll let you know how sweet it is. I tend to like things not too sweet. So I'll let you know how that is. Alright, so as you can see, just finished cutting the last of the dates and they're in here. The reason why that is the first step is because the dates need to soften up. And, oh my god, my fingers taste good. And they'll be able to do that while we're working on the rest of the recipe. Alright, so as you can see, I've already started with the next step, which is to make an oat flour. Now, the recipe calls for 1.5 cups of rolled oats, and I have to do it in 2 batches because my processor is not large enough to do the whole thing in one go. So we've already made part of that flour right here, and it doesn't have to be super fine, but something like this is a good consistency. This is, by the way, I didn't mention, but it is a gluten-free recipe. This right here is some millet. You can't find this in every grocery store. I actually ordered that online on iHerb.com. The prices on that website are very reasonable, and you get free shipping if you spend 20 bucks. So I'll link to that in the description. But these is also supposed to be blended into a flour. And this is 3/4 of a cup. Alright, so we have the rest of our oat flour processed. And we're going to add this to the bowl. we're going to add a half a teaspoon of cardamom, and I like to use the Spice Islands ground cardamom. It has a really nice aroma. So add that, and then we need 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Make sure when you buy baking powder to buy the aluminum free one, because you don't want to be ingesting heavy metals. And that's available at pretty much any store. Give this a little toss to mix it in. Smells really good already. Alright, so the next step is going to be to blend the dates and the non-dairy milk. Now, both of my food processors have cracks in them, and so they actually leak. And so I'm going to use the blender because I definitely don't want anything leaking. I'm not going to be able to film that because the blender's on the other side of the room, but I will show you it before and after. So. Alright, so here we have some very thick date milky paste. And I was just thinking while blending it that there's really no reason after you pit them to chop them, since they're going to be blended up anyway. So as long as you have a high-powered blender, even maybe if you won't not, you might not have to worry. But yeah, so don't waste time chopping them. Just pit them and forget about it. Alright, so we're going to pour this into the dry ingredients. After you add the date sauce, you're going to want to add the applesauce. Now the recipe calls for lemon zest, but I'm not going to be using that because it's very much a strong taste and not everyone likes it. So unless you're certain you like it, I would advise against using it. I'm sure it'll taste just fine without it. And I forgot to mention that I am preheating my oven to 350 Fahrenheit. It won't take that long. So if you forget, you can do that now. One thing that I do not like about the Vitamix is that I do find it quite difficult to get stuff out of the bottom, particularly because of the shape of the container. I haven't had that problem with other blenders that are round. Like I have a Breville, which I really like. I mean, it's definitely a powerful machine, the Vitamix, but definitely has its uses. I think what I would say was if you have, if you really need a high-powered blender, then use the Vitamix for sure. But if you don't need a high-powered blender, then save your money or use something else. It can be a pain to scrape in here for a long time. Sometimes what I do is, depending on the recipe, I'll use my Breville. That way I don't have to worry about scraping it. So bear with me here. So how is everyone? It's almost the weekend. Anyone got any awesome plans? I have been working on my garden, and I just finished one of the patches today, cleaning it out of like weeds and grass and whatnot. So should be planting tomorrow. And I have oh my god, this date sauce is delicious. I have plans to film that for you all. I'm pretty excited. It's just been hard because of the weather, basically. I mean, here it gets a little crazy and it'll say, it's going to rain and it's not going to rain. And we've been getting a lot a lot of rain. And also, the weather, like in terms of heat and cold, has been around too. So anyways, I got in there today and it was really nice. So the next step, now that we got the dates and the applesauce in here, is to gently fold, well, let's stir this a little bit. Then we're going to gently stir in some of the other stuff. So, just stir this a bit. Looks a pretty color. Yeah, I think this is going to be really, really nice. Definitely. Should be a good recipe. One of those trusty recipes that you can keep coming back to, hopefully. Okay, so now we got that mixed well. Looks really, really nice. And I'm going to gently fold the blueberries in. And this is a cup of blueberries. And as well as the blueberries, we're going to need to chop some walnuts. The water is quickly becoming covered. Okay, so let's get the walnuts up in here. This is a half cup of walnuts. And we're just going to chop these up. Let me check if it says finely chopped or not. It says coarsely, so that's good because I'm not a fine type person. So you don't have to worry about getting them perfectly chopped. Alright. So those look good. Now we will add this to the mix. Okay, so this is to gently fold these. Wow, this is a really nice consistency. I think this is going to be great. Alright, and then let's get our muffins in. So we've got a nice Halloween and, well, these aren't Christmas muffin tin liners. But liners are really good, just that way you don't have to use any oil because that's a no-no, especially with McDougall style cooking. So we've got our lined cups, and you can also use a silicone lined pan or anything. And we're just going to spoon the mixture into each cup. And I'll speed through it again for you. Make sure to get a blueberry in each as well. And this is supposed to make 12 muffins, it said. Tried to leave some blueberries showing, because you know, you eat with your eyes first. Alright, here they are. And these are going to go in the oven for 25 minutes at 350. And I will show you what they look like when they're done. So here we have the muffins. They smell really awesome. You can definitely smell that cardamom in there. And we're about to take them out and give them a taste test. Alright, here they are plated and they look really, really great. They've cooled off for 15 minutes. One thing I can already tell you I like about this recipe is that the cleanup was absolutely a breeze. I think it took me like 5 minutes. I chose this one because there are tons of blueberries in it. So we're going to do what Angie and Ryan at Happy Healthy Vegan call the bite of approval. Alright, so I had to figure out how I was going to film myself eating it, and I finally worked it out. So let's get... I may have already taken a bite, sorry. So let's get a second bite. Well, immediately I noticed the cardamom. Really, really nice flavor that shines through. And the blueberries kind of just burst in your mouth. And Dad, you're interrupting the filming process. That's okay. My dad needs a snack. So the blueberries are really nice. And there's a nice nuttiness from the walnuts too. I really like that. I don't normally use nuts, but it's quite nice in this recipe. So I would give these a thumbs up and say that you guys should give them a try. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you soon.